Greetings again, patients. It's Dr. Chad Rolland from Rolland Chiropractic, Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. RollandHealth.com is where you can find us. Today I'm bringing to you a brief video about nature's natural doctors. Making your body stronger every day. Well, I like to think about that as your efforts are never wasted. Now, most of these that I'm going to mention to you in the next few videos are free and can be done from the security of your own home. You might want to check them out, do a little bit of reading about them. Maybe you've not thought about them. Of course, many of them are right in front of us, and as soon as I mention them, you'll be like, oh, I see, I understand. Weimar Health Institute in California had developed the acronym to remember these called New Start, N-E-W-S-T-A-R-T. Dr. Neal Nedley is a medical doctor who runs that now, and you can find them. I recommend you look at their website. It's weimar.edu. So it's capital just W-E-I-M-A-R.edu. W-E-I-M-A-R.edu. Weimar Institute in California. So let's go through the New Start. The original book, I'm going to show you, this is an old book, Nature's 7 Doctors, that was put together. And you can see some of them there. Sunshine, healthy water, and trust in God, fresh air and exercise. So Nature's 7 Doctors, what was developed beyond that became the acronym New Start. N for nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance or moderation, fresh air, A for air, R, rest, T for trust in God. And then they'll throw 2 more in there saying that thankfulness or gratitude, we know that's a really big, important benefit for health. And the last thing is generosity or having a purpose in serving others. There was another organization that put out a book, and their description is called Creation, and they use that word, creation, discovery, and it stands for choice, rest, environment, activity, trust, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. Those 2 books, and I like the New Start, it's just a little easier to remember, but Creation is also a very good overview, and this book was then put together by another organization, 8 Secrets to the Healthy 100, looking at individuals who live to be 100 years old and what are some of their characteristics and what are some of their lifestyle or traits. So if you look at those different books, they'll give you some very interesting tips. I'm going to also do some short videos to just summarize a few of those. Now, 100 years ago, there was a woman who wrote a book called Ministry of Healing. And I'm going to show you that. Sorry, it's a little hard for me to bend down and pick up the books. It's put out under a title called Health and Happiness. And it's also put out in a book that looks a little bit like this, kind of an old style book, The Ministry of Healing by Ellen White. Now, she promoted hygienic natural healing with minimum use of toxic medicines. Now, keep in mind, at her time, 100 years ago, there was a lot of uncertainty about what type of medicine to practice and how things were being done. It was a little bit like the Wild West, certainly 150 years ago it was. Now, when we look back at some of the things that she wrote in that book, it was talking a lot about hygienic medicine, about healthy use of water, and about using sunshine and exercise and eating healthy. I recommend that as a good home care book. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. It has a Christian thread with a very good component about the body-mind connection, which was way ahead of its time if you think of it was written 150 or 100 years ago. She also wrote a book called Counsels on Health, and this book was put together from her writings, and I encourage you to look at that one as well. That's just another version. Now, who was Ellen White? She was a part of a group of Protestant Christians who lived trying to follow a biblical healthy lifestyle. The group later became known as Seventh-day Adventist Christians. And why does that matter and why is it significant? Well, because it is a group highlighted in the National Geographic Longevity Project called the Blue Zones. Many of you may have remembered when this book, they had interviews on Oprah, Dr. Phil, other places, Dr. Oz on the internet, and this book is still available, I believe, The Blue Zones. And what was interesting is when they went around the world and they looked at different people groups, Okinawa, Sardinia, Italy, and there was a few other people groups, each of them lived in kind of a remote sheltered area. They had a very healthy lifestyle, their diet, socializing with their family. And it was the Seventh-day Adventists were the only unique group that had longevity. Living to be over 100 is what that looked at on average. And it looked and said, okay, where are these people groups from? The Seventh-day Adventists actually were concentrated in Loma Linda, California, which is just outside of Los Angeles. That's what made them a unique group compared to being remotely isolated in a natural setting. And although millions profess this faith around the world, that unique longevity being in an urban setting kind of set them apart. The average Seventh-day Adventist tends to live 6 to 8 years longer than the average American, and although they don't all profess to follow that particular lifestyle, they do promote a vegetarian diet for their members, a healthy, active lifestyle. They promote avoiding alcohol and tobacco, being active in their faith community and with their families, being careful to observe a weekly Sabbath of rest, having generosity, and helping others. So you can read about them, whether it's in the Blue Zones book or there are other books that you can find online to get some of that information. And that actually is the religious practice as far as going to church and lifestyle recommendations that my wife and I follow. And we had learned about it as children and have followed it into our adulthood. And I hope that it's something that the lifestyle practices or even the Christian beliefs would be encouraging and helpful to you as well. Now, a couple other books I'm going to show you real quick that also talk about some lifestyle things. Actually, one of them is a DVD. This is a group called the Physicians Council for Responsible Medicine. Kickstart Your Health by Dr. Neal Barnard. And I recommend a lot of his materials, a lot of good information on the things that he's writing. And here's another one you may have heard about. Rick Warren's pretty famous for his big church out west, and the Daniel Plan. What he did is he took a lot of information from that book in the Bible, Daniel, and health information, and put it together into a book as a reference when he learned that a lot of his members were not as healthy as they should be, and he realized, what can I do? And the Bible has a lot to say about health. I have an interesting book called What the Bible Says About Healthy Living, and a medical doctor had gone through a number of the different recommendations in the Bible, and he put those down and he compared them to modern medical science and found that many of them that were taught in days gone by in the Bible actually have been confirmed by medical science as being good health practices today. So whether it's a Daniel Plan, whether it's the Blue Zones or another book that you're looking at along that line, I encourage you to think about the New Start, nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, fresh air, rest, trust in God, generosity, and those different pieces and how they can help you in your lifestyle. Thank you. Until next time, this is Dr. Chad Rolland wishing you the best of health and happiness.